and Magnus. So there's an insane thunderstorm going on outside. So yeah, if you hear any loud rain and crack boom and all that stuff, that's what it is. So James Gunn did an interview about the movie, about Superman. I would like to check this out. So let's get it, shall we?
He was born on the planet Krypton. But the Man of Steel comes to life in California.
Not a finished visual effect.
Inside of
We just got.
Yo! When was this shot? When was this shot? This is the shot that everyone says he removed. He said it was done for a promo and it was unfinished shot. And that is funny that they put it in this interview. Letting y'all know it's unfinished. It was not finished when they put it out. So, okay. I got you, Gunn. I got you.
Some of the visual effects. This is actually not a finished visual effect shot.
James Gunn reviews a scene from what Warner Brothers hopes is a summer blockbuster. Superman, at its reported budget, at least $225 million, arrives in theaters July 11th.
Let's try this and see if it all works out.
It's the first feature from DC Studios,
Guess those are the robots.
Warner Brothers.
And then slapping the side of the thing.
Gunn is...
By the way, everyone was flipping out the other day about him calling them Superman robots. I did see a panel from, I believe it was Superman, All-Star Superman, or whatever, and he called them robots. He didn't call them Superman robots. He called them robots. I think most fans probably would prefer that he just would have called them robots. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if he calls them Superman robots in the comics, that's fine. Here's the thing with comic accuracy, okay? Sometimes it works when it's translated to film, and sometimes it doesn't. So, Heath Ledger's Joker wasn't comic accurate. He was comic accurate in a lot of his look, but he wasn't comic accurate. But it worked. You see? Certain things that are translated to film just work well with the changes. Some don't. And it could be as small as a name, all the way to an outfit, a suit, an origin. It could be a lot of different things. It's up to the filmmakers to make those judgment calls. Fans are very forgiving when something is not comic accurate, but it works. They usually become unforgiving when something is not comic accurate and it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
not only the film's director, he wrote the screenplay.
We just push into him a little bit.
And he's DC's CEO. How you feeling about everything?
I feel good about the movie, and I'm excited about that, and I think we've done something that's different.
Boom! Yamcha pose. By the way, I've officially said this several times, but I am a James Gunn fan. I like James Gunn films. Guardians of the Galaxy is the movie that made me a James Gunn fan. Brightburn made me more of a James Gunn fan. When I found out that he wrote Dawn of the Dead, that made me even more of a James Gunn fan. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I liked even more Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I did not like The Suicide Squad. I really liked Peacemaker. I am a James Gunn fan. Okay. I just am not sure, and I got a bad feeling about this. And the Christmas special was okay. So it is what it is. Okay? All right.
Superman's not indestructible. We see him bleed immediately. At times, I've thought he's too strong. You don't want him to be able to punch a planet in half, or for that matter, Go around a planet a billion times and make time go backwards.
Well, that's his take. I mean, respectfully, that's his take. Apparently, the other filmmakers had different choices on it, and those films did well, right? When he turned back time, that worked. Okay? He can punch a planet in half in certain iterations of Superman in the comics. Okay? He can tow planets with a giant chain. He can do that. He can do almost anything. Okay? Godlike, fantastical things. That's fine to me. You just have to bring it to film and do it right. As long as you can do it right, the fans will be happy. Because the fans know there's different variations of Superman in the comics. But can you bring your variation to the film and do it right? That's all it's about. You can make the majority of us happy. That's all we really care about. You know what I'm saying? But that's his view. Other filmmakers didn't have that view. Other writers of comic books didn't have that view.
You know, I wanted a Superman who was a little bit more down to earth.
What is this?
And few things are more down to earth
Crypto!
than a dog.
What the hey, dude? I thought you destroyed the whole Superman robots. I thought...
Right. Now, some would argue with him saying, well, I wanted a Superman that was down to earth. That you think it's down to earth to have a dog with a cape running around? You get what I'm saying? So, but I'm fine with that. I like Crypto. He was my favorite part of the first trailer. So, I'm fine with that. I like Silly. One of my most favorite movies of all time. I'm saying it for the people that, that can't think well. I love Superman 3. Superman 3 is silly. That rhyme, don't hate the player, hate the game, bars. Okay? I like silly. Just do silly right.
I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly.
You've added another thing here, which is instantly relatable to, I imagine, just about every American. He gave him a dog.
I mean, the dog is the whole reason was the start of the movie for me.
Really?
1000%. I adopted a dog. His name is Ozu, and he didn't want to be touched.
Let me bring this up because I don't usually have problems with this if it's done right. One complaint, and this is my first time saying this, I believe, is that people have a huge problem, very huge, much as I like James Gunn. People, not me, yet. Well, maybe. Many of the fans have a huge problem with the self-insert of Crypto. They do not want self-insert. I've seen fans all across the web jumping on Gunn about Crypto being a self-insert. He's not comic accurate. Isn't that funny? How they'll jump on other people about something being comic accurate, then they'll be fine with Crypto even though he's not comic accurate. Pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm realistic about it, okay? If something doesn't work for me, whether it's comic accurate or not, I just tell you the truth. That's it. Some things that are comic accurate work for me, some things don't. And it happens with a lot of fans, okay? So, just because something's comic accurate doesn't make it right or done right. It's like people can't get that through their heads. So, they don't like the self-insert of Crypto. They do not like the self-insert of their reasoning for certain things. It's kind of like, okay, well, Superman comes with trunks. We don't want you changing the reason why he wears the trunks. The original reason why is because he's strong. And he emulated the strongmen of the time in circuses and sideshows and traveling shows and stuff like that. They wore the tights with those draws on the outside. That's the reason why he looks like that. But they didn't like with David Corenswet saying that, well, he wears it because he wants to be approachable like a wrestler. Like, they don't care about, they're like, just put him in the draws, make it look right. If it don't look right, then take them off of him and make it look right. You know what I'm saying? You know, Henry Cavill's suit got, you know, blowback. I wasn't sure if I was going to like that, but I ended up liking it, you know, with, you know, no trunks. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. So, and they're jumping on James Gunn about him being in all the promotional pictures. Like, you know, they keep saying, hey, he's making sure it's James Gunn. There was something else, too, that people were saying was a self-insert. But that's very irritating to a lot of fans. And I don't think they're going to take that well with him saying that, you know, well, what did he just say? The movie's... Let me see what he said about the dog.
Superman robots, I thought I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly.
You've added another thing here, which is instantly relatable to, I imagine, just about every American. He gave him a dog.
I mean, the dog is the whole reason, was the start of the movie for me.
Really?
The dog is the whole reason. It was the start of the movie for me. A lot of fans are going to have issues with that and say, no, Superman should be the reason for the movie. See what I'm saying? So, I even saw the other day, people were commenting, they were saying stuff like, might as well just call the movie Crypto. See what I'm saying? So, we'll see if it all works out.
1,000%. I adopted a dog. His name is Ozu, and he didn't.
And see, and like Zack Snyder, he seems like a nice guy. I like him in his interviews. I like his movies. But with both of them, I don't love everything. I'm a fan of both of them. Okay, I just want great movies from both men. Okay, those people tell you that, oh, Tyrone only wants dark movies. They're lying. He only wants Superman to be serious. They're lying. Because if you watch me, I told you, I like silly and I like serious. Just do them right.
Want to be touched. He had never known human beings. He chewed up all our furniture. He was, you know, chasing the cat and just being the worst dog you can imagine.
Ow, stop it. Crypto, ow, stop it, stop, sit.
I thought, wow, what if this terrible dog had superpowers? I'd really be screwed.
I don't think there's any way or reason to try to sort of live up to Christopher Reeve. I just feel grateful to get to play that character that he embodied and put into the public consciousness.
I get that. You try to just do your best. You know what I mean? You don't want to be better. You want to be overly consumed with trying to live up to his legacy. Superman continues to live in the hearts and minds of fans and people in the world. And you just want to do your best to bring that character to life. I get it.
In such a positive and strong way.
Corenswet is 31, 7 years older than Reeve when he made his debut in 1978. Corenswet, like his Superman, is immediately disarming.
Yeah.
As well as vulnerable.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
As in this scene with his girlfriend, reporter Lois Lane,
Miss Lane.
played by Rachel Brosnahan.
People were going to die!
He is definitively different from everybody else on Earth. He is not human. He's an alien, and he has these powers that nobody else has. And at the same time, he wants desperately to be a part of humanity. So ultimately, the dramatic stakes of Superman as a character is that he is lonely and he doesn't want to be.
He also has a sense of humor. About those red shorts.
Without the trunks,
Here we go.
the uniform can look very military. So he puts the red underwear on, A, so that everybody can see him. Against the blue sky, you can see the red trunks.
That's not why. And that would definitely make it worse for the bad guys that would see him coming. But okay, if that was his reasoning.
B, so that everybody knows he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's not trying to look cool.
Where am I?
No, those aren't the reasons.
Trunks on the outside of my pants. Like, it's liberating.
Now that doesn't in any way undermine how badass and cool he is when he's up in the sky fighting the bad guys. But once he touches down, he wants to be the one that people can laugh at or make fun of, because he can...
Superman, listen, I've read the comics. I don't see him... I haven't read every comic, but I've never saw him wanting to be laughed at and made fun of. Can you make fun of him and laugh at him and have a good time with him? Yes. Batman's more of the one that you can't do that with. You're going to make a joke and it's just going to be a stone face. It's going to be a game face. That's what it's going to be.
Take it.
Gotta go, man! Otis.
James Gunn wants people to see Superman fighting for truth, justice, and, well, you know the rest of it.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
What do you want audiences around the world to take away from your Superman?
I think just culturally being able to place a little bit more importance on being a good human being.
Be kind to each other.
I think we're surrounded by a lot of meanness. I think Superman's surrounded by a lot of meanness in the movie, but he stands against that grain. And that's what makes him rebellious. And in a way, I think today, in today's world, Superman's the edgier, more rebellious character because he's the one who's standing up for the values that most people are not.
I saw this clip earlier and people were like, oh, so now Superman destroys public property. I mean, yeah. I mean, in the middle of these fights, this stuff happens. I know what this is. That's retaliation from people having problems with all the destruction in Man of Steel. That's why people are saying that about this. I needed it by accident. There we go.
Seeing the challenge. Fully aware that success could mean Superman defines his career.
When you take a role that's going to be this visible and this iconic, even just visually iconic, and it's your face and the underwear, and I wanted to be prepared for the possibility that it wouldn't lead to a bunch of other things, that this would be the thing. And I felt really lucky that when I asked myself that question, the answer came back. Somebody's got to play this part. And if you're the person to play it and you give up everything else to do it, it would be worth doing.
I've heard of the whole Superman curse type of thing where, I don't know, I guess people that played Superman, it just didn't work out for them, eventually, as far as their acting careers and stuff went. I don't know. I forgot the George Reeves story, but his didn't end too well from what I understand. Because for Reeves didn't end too well. And it's like he couldn't get a hit. Other than playing Superman, he couldn't get a hit. I remember an interview where he said something like, can I get a hit movie? like people just knew him as Superman. That was it. I don't think it typecast him. I just think that the other movies he was in wasn't great. He was a great actor. I just think that, they weren't great movies. He couldn't land that one, that other thing that he could be known for. Like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? Like they played multiple characters that worked for them. You know what I'm saying? Like Stallone is known as Rocky and Rambo. Schwarzenegger more than anything the Terminator, but he's played other characters and it's all worked out. Not all the movies, but you know what I mean. All in all, it's worked out for both of them. And, but then you look at Tom Welling. It's like he really hasn't done anything. You look at, I don't know what happened with, why can't I remember? Oh my God, I can't remember his name. Dean Cain. I haven't seen him in a while in anything. You look at Henry Cavill. It seems like Henry hasn't really been able to really get anything going that like people liked him as The Witcher, but the way they were telling the story, they were woken it up and they were messing it up. He wants to do the whole Space Marine thing. Hopefully that works out. He was great in the Mission Impossible movie, but The Man from U.N.C.L.E. didn't work out. That whole Gentleman movie, that didn't really work out. They need to cast him as James Bond. I'm hoping it does work out for Henry. So, I mean, if the track record, you know what I mean? It's kind of a scary role to take on. Tyler seems to be doing all right. He hasn't been Superman long. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Routh, he played it, and he's not like a huge name that's making a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's kind of weird. It makes me wonder. I don't, really believe in stuff like that, but I don't know, man. Something's going on. But, yeah, I don't know. Post a post comments down. Shaq's doing all right, I guess. Post your comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share.